Okay, so today we're diving deep into the story of Dar City basketball and how, across two back-to-back games, they reveal not just who they are as a team, but who they might become. In this video, we'll look closely at what changed between their dominant win against Djabal and their tougher battle against Namuwongo Blazers. We'll talk about rotations, player combinations, the plus-minus story behind the lineups, and how Dar City's adjustments shape both outcomes. And finally, we'll zoom out and compare what we're seeing right now to the DNA of previous BAL champions. In order to ask that big question, does Dar City look like a team built for a championship run? Well, let's find out. Let's start at the very beginning. Well, at the second game. All right, so Dar City had just come off a blowout win. One of those games where everything clicks. Against Djabal Club, they were unstoppable. They won 102-50. It was the kind of performance that makes you think, could this be the best team in the region right now? I know it's a stretch, but that kind of game will make you ask yourself that question. They scored at will, dominated the paint, and moved with rhythm and confidence. Raphael Putney, man, he was from another planet. He looked like he was just on a different planet. At least he came from a different planet. 55 points, hitting 9 threes, commanding the floor like a man possessed. When one player scores more than half of your team's total, it's not just dominance. It's a statement. And yet, less than 24 hours later, Dar City had to do it again. Same gym, new opponent. This time, Namuwongo Blazers. And there's nothing that's fake or a lie about this team. I know it's Namuwongo, not Namukweli. But man, the Blazers are for real. A Ugandan team known for their athleticism, strong wing play, and physicality. Man, it was something like that. It's always a test how you respond, the day after an easy win. This was for Dar City because they got an easy win the first night. Now they had to play a team that's real. Nothing Namuwongo about it because, by the way, those that do not understand in Swahili, Wongo is a lie, so Namuwongo, it would be and the liar, like that dude is lying. And then Namukweli, that's the truth. They call me Karabani Okweli. So Okweli talking about Namuwongo. There's nothing Namuwongo about that team. All right, let's get back to this very long video already. This is going to be a very long video. All right, so it's usually very tough for a team to play back-to-back games. Your little tendency, those little ugly tendencies tend to show, because fatigue and so many things just pop up and you start doing stuff that you normally do. You kind of revert to, you're not as sharp. Let's just put it that way. Okay, so Dar City in the first quarter, man, struggle. From the opening tip, Namuwongo came ready. They attacked early with Djabal Jr. leading the charge, 11 points in the first quarter alone. Dar City's defense was a step slow, rotations late, communication off. They were caught stuck between switching and staying home. And the scoreboard told the story. Namuwongo led 32-22 after the first quarter, a 10-point haul. And for the first time in the tournament, Dar City looked a little uncomfortable. The issue wasn't effort. It was matchups. Dar City started with the usual lineup, Deng on the wing, Z and Diabate in the backcourt, Putney at power forward, and Hashim Thabit anchoring the middle. But the Blazers spaced the floor. They pulled Thabit away from the basket, forcing him to defend quicker forwards. And that created lanes, easy drives, open jumpers. Dar City's defense is built around rim protection with Thabit. Suddenly, no rim protection. There was a moment when Djabal got the ball from the wing and just the baseline was wide open. All he had to do was beat his guy, and he's got a really fast first step. I mean, really quick first step. Took that first step, left his guy, went under the rim, and just reverse dunked it. The whole crowd went bananas. Even though Dawes City was the home team, that dunk just, it was electric. It was electric. Anyway, right. So anyway, let's get back to the video. This video is going to be really long. All right. So they had to make a couple adjustments right there. And what they did was they subbed in Mkosa. And immediately, like instantly, you could see it instantly. The energy just lifted. The spacing improved. And Dawes started to move with a different rhythm. Mkosa brought what the game needed most. Fresh legs and defensive speed. He chased shooters, rotated faster, and helped seal off drives that had been open all first quarter. Suddenly, Dawes City's wings were flying. Deng could attack freely again. Diabate pushed Temple, and Mitchell controlled the boards behind them. Putney, who had carried so much of the offensive load the night before, he kind of looked heavy. Like I was saying, he was struggling a little bit. And that's natural. Back-to-back games hit different, especially for veteran. The same was true for Thabit. You could tell fatigue and age were catching up in his second outing in 24 hours. He's still very intimidating. His presence is very intimidating. But that game demanded mobility. And it just wasn't there. So Coach Mamadou, that adjustment was very tactical. It was about reading the moment, recognizing that speed, not size, was going to win that game. And from those substitutions going forward, Dawes City controlled the flow. Mkosa's plus minus finished at 11, plus 11 in just 11 minutes. Every stretch he played, the team looked sharper. And that flexibility, being able to pull a starter and trust your bench, that's a sign of depth. By halftime, Dawes City had erased the deficit and taken the lead 43-42, leading by 1 point. And that second quarter, it wasn't about scoring. It wasn't just about scoring. It was about rhythm returning. They held the Blazers to just 10 points in the entire quarter, their lowest of the game. The first quarter, they scored 32 points, mind you, 32, and just held a 10. Let's talk about that. In basketball, numbers tell stories, and the plus minus tells this one clearly. All right, so when Hasheem Thabit was on the floor, Dawes City was plus 12. Dawes City was minus 12, I mean. When Makai Mitchell came in, they were plus 25. And that was alongside Mkosa alongside him. They found their balance. That's a 37-point swing, powered by quicker defense, better spacing. Mitchell's 28 minutes were as impactful as any star performance you will see. He wasn't just rebounding, he was sealing defenders, defending ball screens, and allowing Dawes City to switch without exposing mismatches. Once the defense locked in, the offense followed. Z found his rhythm again. He finished with 20 points, steady throughout, controlling tempo. Deng added 25 points, cutting and finishing relentlessly, and Solo Diabate, the veteran point guard, was the glue. 11 points, 8 assists, and constant leadership. And man, that man just brings this kind of calmness to the game. He just sees it differently. Now, those three starters, Deng, Z, and Diabate, it was 40 full minutes of basketball for them. No rest, no rotation, pure endurance. That tells you something about Dawes City's mindset. They were not experimenting anymore. They were locked in. They wanted that win. Now, when we compare this game to the previous one against Djabal, we start to see Dawes City's dual identity. Against Djabal, everything came easy. Their offense was fluent, 53 from the field, 53%, 14 made threes, 1.2 points per possession. They ran, they dunked, they dominated. It was pure expression. Against the Blazers, the tone was different. It was about survival. Shots were not falling. They shot only 13% from three. They had to win with defense, rebounding, and patience. And they did. That's the mark of a maturing team. The ability to win different kinds of games, Where Djabal was chaos, the Blazers was structure. Dar City had to think, adjust, and grind. If you watch how Dar City played in the second half, especially late in the fourth quarter, you'll notice something subtle. They trusted each other more, just a little more. Diabate didn't force the tempo. Deng spaced the floor, cut only when needed. Mitchell rotated smoothly with Mkosa. It was cohesive. 5 players thinking as one. That's chemistry you can't fake. That's what separates teams that win games from teams that win championships. Even though this team is fairly new, this was their second game together. They've practiced, but practically this is their second game together. Even though Putney didn't have his usual scoring night, just 8 points, he rebounded, defended, and led from the bench. When he sat, the balance, the humility to adjust your role, that's a quiet form of leadership that makes teams better over time. And with the beat, also cheering on and talking to the bench, that's a winning formula. Another thing I want to talk about, numbers show, is how tight the rotation became. Dar City just used 7 players against the Blazers. The rest didn't touch the floor. It's a strategy move, not fatigue management. When a coach shortens the rotations like that, it's because he knows which combinations are working. And against high caliber opponents, the margin for error shrinks. The 3 constants were Deng, Z, and Diabate, all with plus 13 for the game. And Mitchell's plus 25, well, I would say that's a blueprint. Those four together formed Dar City's most efficient core. When you add Putney, it gives them spacing and size. When you replace him with Mkosa, it gives them speed and energy. That flexibility is rare. And that is what will carry them through tougher rounds. What about the earlier win? What can we take from it? First, it showed Dar City's ceiling, what they look like when they are full throttle. They outscored Djabal 60-24 in the first half, built a 54-point lead at one point, and completely controlled every possession. Their bench players, Abdallah, Fortius, Dula, all contributed. Putney's explosion was the headline, but the balance underneath mattered more. Dar City had 31 assists that night. That's championship level ball movement. The Djabal game was like an open practice. It reminded them of what they're capable of when the rhythm is right. The Blazers game, though, that's where they grew. That's where they grew. Now let's step back. What does all this tell us when we compare Dar City to the teams that have gone all the way in the BAL? Every champion, Zamalek, US Monastir, Petro de Luanda, Al Ali, all had 3 things in common: star power, depth and adaptability, defensive consistency. Dar City checks most of the boxes. They have their stars, Z, Deng, Putney, Diabate, Hashim. They have adaptability, switching lineups, handling tempo changes, and winning both fast and slow games. And defensively, they're learning a lock-in. Holding Djabal to 50 and the Blazers to 70 in back-to-back nights, that's impressive at any level. The only missing piece, well, I would say 2. First one, consistency from the 3-point line and trusting the bench a bit more in tighter contests. Because deep in the tournament, you'll need that 8th man to step up. But overall, Dar City's metrics, their rebounding dominance, turnover pressure, and lineup flexibility all line up with the profile of a BAL contender. They can win through skill, they can win through grit, and most importantly, they can adjust mid-game. That's impressive. What we saw in these two games is more than numbers. It's a reflection of growth, of a team learning to handle success and adversity within 24 hours. Against Djabal, Dar City proved they can dominate when everything goes their way. Against the Blazers, they prove they can dig deep when it doesn't work. That combination is powerful. So when we ask, what separates great teams from good ones? It's not just talent, it's the ability to evolve, to respond, to change the plan when the plan stops working. And that's exactly what Dar City did. They're still refining, still learning how to start games with the same urgency they finished with. But this stretch showed their chemistry, their adjustments, and their leaderships are trending in the right direction. If they continue to grow at this rate, if they sharpen their shooting and keep trusting the rotation that works, then Dar City won't just be a team to watch in the Zone 5 qualifiers. They'll be a team that represent the region on the biggest stage, the BAL. No doubt. So as we wrap this up, here's what this back-to-back really tells us. The Djabal win was dominance. The Blazers win was discipline. And together they define Dar City's identity. Because championships are not won on talent alone. You win on nights like the second game, where you have to fight through fatigue, stay composed, and make the right adjustments. And for Dar City, they did just that. They did exactly that. If they keep building from here, if they keep learning from each quarter, each possession, each lineup tweak, then they're not just chasing a BAL dream. They're shaping into a team that belongs there. This is what growth looks like in real time. Now, if you found this breakdown insightful, make sure you follow along, because the road ahead for Dar City and Tanzanian basketball is just beginning. More stories, more analysis, and more lessons from the journey. I am Karabani, and this has been a deep dive into Dar City's evolution from a dominant win to a hard-fought test to a glimpse of something greater. See you in the next one.